Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale with Off the Beaded Path. For the last few weeks, I've been teaching you how to make the cobblestone bracelet, the cobblestone earrings, then the tile by tile earrings, the tile by tile version 2.0 earrings, and then lastly, I showed you how to make the tile by tile ring. I want to take all of that and put it in together into one design. So today I'm going to show you how to make the cobblestone. Haven't decided on a final name for it yet. It's either going to be the cobblestone necklace or the tile by tile necklace. Not really sure yet. But this video is going to be a little bit different from most videos that you guys see me do, in the fact that this is a big project undertaking and this is not something that can be set down and did in one sit down. Okay, this is taking me multiple sit downs to do. So you're going to see me doing different things in this video than I would normally do, and it's just because I barely had time to make this sample, much less make more samples for the video. So I don't have a complete materials list for you yet, but if you'll click on the little drop down box right below me here, you'll see the complete materials list. Plus, I'm going to put the complete list on the private Off the Beaded Path Facebook page, so you can find it there. But basically, what we're going to be doing for the first part of the necklace is we're going to be referring back to the tile by tile earring. I'm not going to show this stuff again in the video because it's very repetitive and I don't want to get redundant with you guys. But the first thing that we want to do is we're going to start out, and you want to make a tile by tile earring, okay, one earring. And in this earring, you don't want to make the earring top, the little bell part. You just want to make the centerpiece, which you'll see here in this photo. Next, you'll want to take, and one thing I should say is, do not tie off your threads on this tile by tile component. We want to keep all these threads so that we can go back and connect all the pieces together. So do not tie off your threads or knot it off. The next thing that you're going to do in this project is we're going to take that same tile by tile earring, but you're only going to follow steps 1 through 33 on that tile by tile earring, meaning that when you do your tile by tile earring, you're not going to have the bottom part of it. Okay, so we're just going to have the square component just like we did in the tile by tile ring. Okay, we need to make 6 of these babies. I'm going to make 6 of them, so that way it gives me a total. By the time I put my one in the center, it'll give me 7 for my necklace. Now, you can make more if you want to, but 6 was kind of the max for me. I was just like, oh, I've had enough. So 6 components, and when you get that done, you're going to want to lay it out just like this. Now, once you get that done and laid out, we're going to be ready to actually stitch those components together and then make the necklace strap. So that's where we're going to get started today. So I have my square component, and the first thing you'll want to make sure is that when we get ready to exit our corner 4mm, I want to exit one of those 4mm so that the hole in my bead is straight up and down. You can't see the hole actually through the bead unless it's transparent, but I can actually see the openings to my hole and know that my hole is straight up and down like this. So I want to come out on either on this right side or this left side. I don't want to come out of this top and bottom. Once I come out of the corner 4mm, which is step 33 in the directions, I'm going to continue on through the 11 and the 15 to the right. You can go to the right or to the left. I've just came through those beads on the right. And this is where, again, we're starting the connection. So I'm going to pick up 2 15s, 1 4mm round, and 2 15s. In doing that, let me get it, there we go. I'm going to skip the 15, the duo, and the 15, and then I'm going to go through the 15 and the 11 here on this top right and pull. Working back the opposite direction, I'm going to come right back down through the 11 and the 15 on this left hand side. Pick up 2 15s and go through the 4mm that you just added. And now 2 15s, and you go through the 15 and the 11 on this left hand side and get that pulled so that now you have your first little connection part made. Now this is going to be one of the end components, so I'm actually not going to put anything else over here on this side. I'm going to go ahead and tie this thread off. So I'm just going to use some half hitch knots by going under the thread there between where my thread is exiting, or my needle is. Leave myself a loop, go through the loop, and pull that thread. And I'm going to put a couple of these in here and then trim that thread. I threaded the needle onto my next component, and again, making sure that my hole is up and down. I'm coming out of the 11 and the 15 on the side. On this case, it's going to be, let's see, how am I going to connect it? It's going to be the bottom left side is what I'm coming out at. And I'm going to lay my 2 components side by side. I'm going to pick up 2 15s. And this is what's very important to take note. Right now, I'm coming out of the bottom on the left-hand side. So once I get ready to do the next step, I'm going to be going through this top left-hand side. So I've got my 2 15s, and I'm going to go right up through the 4mm on the component that I added just a minute ago. Then I want 2 more 15s, and remember, I said we started out on the back left, so we have to go through the top left. So we're going to go through the 15 and the 11 here on the top left, so that when you pull, you can see when I pull that tightly, that's going to connect those 2 pieces right there. Now working back in the opposite direction, I'm going to go through the 11 and the 15 that's on that right side. I'm going to pick up 2 15s and go through the 4mm. This time I'm going to go down through the 4mm. And then 2 15s. And remember, I was on the top right hand side, so now I'm going to go to the bottom right hand side. So I'm just going to go through the 15 and the 11 here at the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this, and when I do, now you can see it's connected here at the top, and if I flip it over, it's connected here at the bottom, and this is what it looks like in between. So if you want to reinforce this connection, you can, and then tie this thread off with some half hitch knots, and you're going to repeat that to add the third component to it. And remember, make sure your holes are all facing the same way. Okay, so just a second ago, I told you to tie off this component, and I totally forgot a step. So you will not tie off this component. You'll want to stitch to the opposite side of the component, and then we're going to add a connection just like we did here on this first component. So I'm coming out of the 11 and the 15 on this left-hand side of my component. Pick up 2 15s, 1 4mm round, and 2 15s. Now you want to skip the 15, the duo, and the 15, and then go through the 15 and the 11 here on this top left side. Working back in the opposite direction, you're going to go through the 11 and the 15 here on the right hand side. pick up 2 15s and go down through the 4mm round you just added. And then 2 15s and go through the 15 and the 11 on that right hand side. So that gives you your connection. Now you're ready to tie this off and complete that one. Then you'll do a third component. This is where we will connect the third component, and then you'll stitch to the opposite side to add the connection just like I've done here. Then we'll be ready to stitch the center component. So again, you're going to tie this second component off. We're going to do the connection to the 4mm round, and then you want to stitch to this side and make the little connection just like you did on this second component. So I have all 3 of my components connected, and I've gone ahead and actually connected the components also on the other side so that you can see what it's going to look like completed. When I have this strip complete, I'm coming out of the beads here on this right hand side top in the center, and you're going to connect the center components in the corners. You're not going to do opposite sides like we did here on our other components. You're going to do those in the diagonal corners to each other. So that way it gives you a nice V shape for the necklace. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this to my third component just like if it was a regular square component that I had completed. And once you get the sides connected, it gets a little bulky to deal with, so I find it easier just to keep it laid out on the mat like I've got here. So I'll go pick up my 2 15s, go through that center component there, and then pick up 2 more 15s and go through the 15 and an 11 here on that back side, so that now I've got that piece attached to the center. And like I said, once you get this side done, then you'll attach the ones to the second side, and you'll have the first part of the necklace completed. And you'll want to make sure that all your threads are tied off and trimmed for this section of the necklace. At this point, we're going to be doing the sides of the necklace. So you're going to need Tilas, Super Duos, 15s, 11s, and 4mm rounds. I also have a needle threaded with 2.5 yards of thread. So to get started, I'm going to pick up 9 15s. And 1 Super Duo. I'm going to let these drop. I'm going to go back through all those beads again. And then I'm going to tie these 2 threads together. And I'm going to go ahead and take my needle and go through the whole of the tile that I've already been through. For now, I'm just going to kind of leave this tail hanging out to the side. Thread on a 15, an 11, and a 15, and go through the other hole on the same side that you're exiting of here in the tile. Then thread on a 15, an 11, and a 15, and go up through the other hole of the tile on the same side you're exiting. So that now we have a little picot on each side of that tile. Continue on through the 15, the 11, and the 15, and then the hole of the tile bead. Now remember, just go through the hole of the tile bead, don't go through any of the beads there on the other side. Pick up a 15, a duo, a 15, a tile, a 15, a duo, and a 15. You're going to come back around through the same hole of the tile you're coming out of so that it makes a circle. And now I'm going to continue on through the 15, the duo, the 15, and then the tile that I just added. And I'm holding that tile and pulling the thread nice and tight. Now you're ready for embellishments again. So it's a 15, an 11, and a 15. And I'm going to go through the other hole of the tile, then a 15, an 11, and a 15, and go through the other hole of the same tile you're coming out of. Then we're going to go through the 15, the 11, and the 15, and then the tile. So the base of the neck strap is a lot, or it's exactly almost like the cobblestone bracelet, the bangle, the original one that I showed you guys. So now it's a 15, a duo, a 15, and then a tile, a 15, a duo, and a 15. We're going to come back around and make a circle. So I'm going to come back down through the same hole of the tile I'm coming out of. Then through the 15, the duo, the 15, and then the tile. Embellishment, so I'm going to pick up a 15, an 11, and a 15. I'm going to go through the other hole of the tile, and then a 15, an 11, a 15, and go up through the tile so that I have an embellishment on each side. Then continue through the 15, the 11, the 15, and then the other hole, or the hole of the tile that you're coming out of. And you're going to continue to do this until you have the desired amount of length for the strap. Now I did 19. I did 19 tiles for mine, and that will give you about 6.5 inches of tiles. So if you need that side of the strap longer, then you'll need to make it longer, because I've actually gone ahead and connected one side so that I could figure out the length that I needed. So like I said, 19 tiles will give you about 6 to 6.5 inches, and you'll be doubling that for the other side. So if you've got 6.5 inches, so 6 and 6 is 12, a half and half, that will give you 13 inches of necklace without the center part here. You would have to measure and decide how much longer you wanted it. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and do 19 tiles. Once you get your strap made, then you're ready to connect it to the center of the necklace. So I'm going to lay my piece out here next to where I'm going to connect it. And we need some super duos to connect it, so that way we can get our embellishment going exactly where it needs to be. So I'm going to start out just like I normally would. I'm going to pick up my 15, my super duo, and my 15. Now, on the component, I'm working on the bottom of the component here, and you have the 11 and 2 15s. I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to go through just that middle 15. Okay, so just the one. And I'm going to pull that through. Then I'm going to do 5 15s. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've got 5 15s. I'm going to skip the 15, the duo, and the 15, and then I'm going to go through the next 15 there on the bottom. And I'm going to pull that. And that's going to loop around that center 15 that we've got there. Now I'm going to pick up a 15, a duo, and a 15, and I'm going to come back through this tile bead again. So that now the strap is connected. Now you can go through those beads again and reinforce it if you want to. The only thing you have to be careful is with those 15s here and here, they're going to be kind of tight to get through. So be very careful there if you decide that you're going to reinforce that. Now I'm going to continue on through the 15 and the super duo that I just added a second ago here. Then I'm going to work the opposite direction, and I'm going to go up through the top hole of the same duo that I'm coming out of. Pick up an 11, a 4mm, and an 11, and go through the top hole of the next super duo on this side. We're only going to work on one side at a time. So that was an 11, a 4mm, and an 11. Then you're going to pick up those same beads. So an 11, a 4mm, and an 11. And go through the next super duo on that side. And you're going to go all the way down until you've gone through the last super duo on that side, adding the 11, the 4mm, and the 11. Once you get all the way to the end, your piece will be really wavy like mine is here, but that's okay because you're going to fix that. Now you should be coming out of this last super duo, and at this point you're on the home stretch, because what you're going to do is you're going to pick up 2 15s. I can get it here. So 2 15s, and work in the opposite direction. I'm going to go through the top hole of that super duo that's directly across from where the thread is exiting. And you'll want to pull that tight. Now we're going to be working back down. So you're going to pick up an 11 and go through the 4mm. And an 11 and go through the open hole of the next duo on the other side. And when you pull it, that's going to make that little X shape embellishment. We're going to do this all the way down, picking up an 11 and going through the 4mm, and then pick up an 11 and go through the open hole of the next duo. And you're going to do that all the way down, adding your little X shape embellishments. Once you've gotten all the way down to the very first super duo that we attached with, you are going to pick up 2 15s, and then working in the opposite direction, go back up through the super duo that we started with, and you want to pull that nice and tight so that way it keeps the X shape that you need there. And at this point, you are going to tie off this thread and trim the tails. Once you have the piece completed and you have both sides attached, then all it will be is just adding your clasp. So I like to do something very simple with this design. I took a jump ring and attached a toggle. Now you can do whatever kind you like, and you can stitch a toggle, or whatever you want, and attach it however you want. I just like to do it this way, and all you have to do is just open your jump ring, attach the clasp, and then you're going to slide it right in that loop you made at the very end tile bead, and then close that ring so that you will have your clasp attached. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to make this cobblestone necklace. I know this video is a little bit different from videos that I normally do, but this is just a very time-consuming project. So just know that if you take this project on, it's going to take you a lot longer to complete than some of the other projects that I've done. But I promise you, the results for this piece are completely worth it. A few things that I do need to mention. First is that we will have kits available on our website, which is offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. There'll be kits for the copper color that I showed you today, and there'll be a kit for the turquoise and purple that I've been doing in the previous weeks. Now these are available for a limited time, and when we run out, that's kind of it. Okay, so just be aware of that. Number 2, we do have the written pattern for sale on our website, again, offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com, and that will have the tile by tile earring pattern in it, as well as the necklace pattern, so that way if you had a little bit of trouble following the video from today, hopefully you'll have a lot of easier time following the step-by-step written pattern. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.